Set 6 table listings figures technical question and answers. Answers are highlighted in green. Question 1. Understanding table listing figure development. You are preparing a demographics table for a phase 3 oncology trial. Which of the following information is typically included in this table? As you know, in demographics table, we generally include age, sex and race. So the correct answer is A. Adverse events by treatment groups, option B is not the right answer. Laboratory result summary, it relates to your LB data set. Hence, it's not related to demographics. Kaplan-Meier survival curves, they are related to the oncology clinical trials where you are trying to show the survival chances or the survival probability chances of specific cancer patients. So this is also not the right answer. So this is a figure. It's not a demographics table. So here we are discussing table and where this is the figure. So this is not the right answer. So the correct answer is option A. Question 2. Listings for adverse events. Which column is most essential in an adverse event listing for quick identification of patients with severe adverse events? Option B. Event description and investigator's name. Now, event description and investigator's name can be same for more than 2 records. Hence, this is not the right answer. Option C, study drug concentration and adverse event severity. Now even again the concentration can be same and even the severity also can be same for multiple records, and it cannot identify uniquely a specific patient or a specific record. So this is not the right answer. Option D says subject race and medical history. Again the subject race and medical history can be same for more than 2 or 3 records. Hence you cannot uniquely identify a specific patient for having severe adverse events. So the correct answer is option A, subject ID, which is unique, event start date, which is again unique because you have date, time and seconds, and the event description, right? Question 3, figures in survival analysis. In a Kaplan-Meier survival curve, what does the y-axis typically represent? Option B, hazard ratio, no. Option C, number of subjects per treatment arm, no. Option D, adverse event rates. Now adverse event rates is nothing to do with the Kaplan-Meier survival curve, right? So the option A is probability of survival over time. That's the right answer, because in y-axis we have probability of survival and the x-axis we have time. Question 4, statistical outputs and tables. For a summary table displaying change from baseline in values, what statistical metrics are most commonly included? Option A, mean, standard deviation, p-value. So this is the right answer. Option B, median, interquartile range and investigator name. Now investigation name has nothing to do with the statistical metrics. So this is not the right answer. B. Option C says maximum, minimum and patient ID. Now again patient ID does not have any influence or any significance in statistical metrics for change for baseline. So C is not the right answer. Option D, treatment group names and protocol. Now again protocol version has nothing to do with change from baseline, right? So option D is not the right answer. The correct answer is mean, standard deviation and LB and p-value. Question 5, data source and listings. When creating patient listings, where is the primary source of data typically extracted from? Now if you are in the clinical trials, you know very well that the data primary comes first from the CRF, the way it is designed and the way it is collected. So the correct answer is B. Now statistical analysis plan, it comes after study protocol. So this is not the right answer. Even the study protocol comes after the design of your case report form. So even this is also not the right answer. Option D says clinical study report. Now this comes after developing the statistical analysis plan. Hence this is not the right answer. So whatever data that is collected in your CRF, the same data is descriptive analysis is written in SAP and the same interpretation is written in this CSR, that is your clinical study report. Hence CRF is the first primary source of data typically extracted from for patient data listings. Question 6, safety analysis. In a table summarizing treatment emergent adverse events, How are the events typically grouped? Option A, alphabetically by event name. No, alphabetically has nothing to do with treatment emergent adverse events. Option C, by the age of the patient. Even this has nothing to do with the treatment emergent adverse events. Option D, by study preference of investigator. It has nothing to do with investigators' preference for treatment emergent AEs. The treatment emergent AEs has to do something with severity and relationship to treatment. Hence, all those events, they are typically grouped by severity and relationship to treatment, so that you can come to know how many patients had mild, moderate, severe, and how many patients were related and unrelated to specific treatment. Question 7. Consistency across table listings and figures. What is the best practice for ensuring consistency across table listings, figures, outputs in clinical trials? Option B. Allowing programmers to choose their format for each TLF. No. The programmers do not have their freedom to choose their own specific format. Whatever format that has been designed, that has been approved between the sponsor and the CRO, or within the team, or whosoever the in charge person is, based on that we follow. Option C, excluding any formatting rules to save time. No, you cannot exclude any formatting. Whatever that has been designed in the mock shell tables, listings and figures, you have to follow that. Option D, randomizing formats to avoid monotony. No, you cannot do this. So the correct answer is using a standardized template and programming guidelines. Now every organization, they have their own template, they have their own programming guidelines, somewhat nearer to the mandatory guidelines that has been followed by the CDISC guidelines, which is SGTM and ADAM. So more or less it will be same in every organizations, but they have their own specific pattern. So that is what everybody has to follow. Question 8. Figure types for efficacy results. Which type of figure is most appropriate to illustrate the efficacy of two treatments in reducing tumor size? Now, forest plot is not the right answer, because we don't use this plot for reducing tumor size. Histogram is just like a a bar chart or some kind of, so that is also not helpful. Option D is Kaplan-Meier curve. Now this particular figure, it will show you what are the chances of cancer patients for their survival. Do they have 5 years or 10 years next for their survival? So this also cannot help you in reducing the tumor size. The correct answer is B, which is waterfall plot. Now this is a plot, like say you will have like this and then you will have like this, right? So initially during the time of the treatment, the tumor size was increased, and once the time passes, the treatment has been given, the tumor size has reduced. So like say for example, this is say around 14 days or say around 24 days. So after 14 days, the effect of treatment has reduced your tumor size. So this is what you call as the waterfall plot. Question 9. Listings review. A listing of serious adverse events contains duplicate entries for some subjects. What is the best corrective action? Now, even if there is a duplicate entry for a SAE, you should ensure that you raise the query on time, because this is related to serious adverse events. Now, if you have a specific case where a subject has died because of serious adverse events, then it becomes very essential and mandatory to raise the query, inform the ethics committee that due to the treatment, it got side effect and the patient died. So the best way to handle such kind of duplicate entries is contact the data management team and verify the source data. Your source data is nothing but your monitoring team. So the data management team, they have to raise the query to their sites, to their monitoring sites, to ensure whether the serious adverse event had happened. So whether this serious event had happened, and even though if happened, are these duplicate entries are correct, right? So all these investigations have to be done by your data management team, that is your DM. Option A says highlight duplicates in the listing for review. This does not do any kind of action. Highlighting duplicates is not going to give you any solution, and it will not give you any correct information. Option B says remove duplicates without notifying the study team. No, you cannot even remove any kind of single point of data in clinical trials where you are handling the human patients data. You cannot remove just by your own and without informing your team and your team leads and your managers. You cannot do this. This is unethical. Option D says include only the most recent entry for each subject. No, you cannot do that. Okay, so you have to contact the management team and verify the source data. Question 10. Regulatory compliance. When generating table listings and figures outputs, why is it crucial to adhere to CDIS standards? Option B, to reduce programming time. Now CDIS standards has nothing to do with the programming time. In fact, when you implement the CDIS standards, your programming time increases because you have to develop the SDTM data sets from raw data, then you have to develop the ADAM data sets from SDTM data sets, then you have to validate SDTM and ADAM data sets from the Pinnacle 21 software. So it doesn't reduce time, your time increases when you work in the CDIS format or the CDIS project. Option C, to create visually appealing table listings and figures. Now the presentation of TLF has nothing to do with CDIS standards, right? Option D, to eliminate the need for statistical analysis. Even this is also not the right answer. Even though in whichever format you generate table listings and figures, right? Statistical analysis anyways you have to perform, you cannot ignore it or you cannot remove it, right? So the correct answer is option A, to meet regulatory requirements for submission. So say for example US FDA has made regulatory requirement that whatever information or whatever the data that is given to them for review for getting the molecule or the drug approval, you should ensure that certain specific data structure format needs to be followed so that it even becomes easier for the US FDA people to review and give you the approval as earliest as possible. So in those scenarios, the CDISC is a non-profit organization where they have developed their own standards for so that it becomes easy for everyone. Please like, share and subscribe. Leave a feedback comment mentioning any topic that you want me to make a video. Looking forward for a positive response. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Leave a feedback comment. Many thanks for your support and having great connection.